Hey everyone. Hello
How's everyone
everyone.
doing?
Hi. Here we are, the first live stream on the USA Gundam TV channel. As you guys know, I'm certainly no stranger to live streaming, but it's probably been a while since you guys have seen Adam on live stream. Adam,
Yeah, how's it going, everybody?
morning. Hey.
Good morning. Morning for me, I guess nighttime for you.
Yeah. Yep. It's nighttime here, but I'm doing all right. I have some nighttime coffee to keep me out, to keep me going, but I'm all right. Yeah. Have you been on any live streams since you were on Gunpla Talk with us on Gunpla Talk before?
No, I think that was the last one I was on, and that probably
Uh-huh.
was the first one I was on, to be
Uh,
honest.
all right. Well, here we are. They were starting off a new series here that I wanted to do for our USA Gundam TV channel. What we're going to be doing for this series is it'll be a chance for you guys, those of you watching live, and ask it. Anyway, you can ask questions to Adam. Hopefully, you've already asked your questions around on different social media. I posted around yesterday. You guys could ask your questions to him. So I'll be referring to those questions first. Then, if we still have some time, we'll take some questions live as well. But I'll be checking around on the different social media, see what people have posted over the last day or so. There's quite a lot of questions to get through, so I think that'll probably take up most of the time. So we'll do that. You guys can get a chance to talk directly to Adam. Adam's owner, USA Gundam Store, the creator. And I'm sure there's some questions about how that all happened as well. So we'll get into that more here shortly, I think. But first, before we do that, we do also want to do a little show and tell with you guys. Adam's gonna show off some new stuff there in stock. Not necessarily all things that are like new releases, but some new, just whatever new is in stock. So, Adam, what do you got to
Yeah,
show
so
here?
obviously, probably what everyone has been waiting for, the real grade Eva-1. Get in the camera there.
Yes,
So
still waiting. Yeah, as well.
yeah, we just got those in, so we'll be getting everyone's pre-orders out. We got the DX set and the regular one. I don't know if a lot of people know the DX set obviously is limited. It's kind of like that real grade unicorn Desiree one. So get those quick if you if you want one. Some really cool older kits that came back in. The G Unit wing kits. I don't know if anyone remembers these. All this entire line came back in the other day as well. There's a lot of really cool ones. I remember these. I think these came out when a little bit after Wing hit Toonami, if I remember correctly. I think a lot of these were in like Toys R Us and stuff way back when. So a lot of those kits came back in. I really enjoy these kits. They kind of bring me back to when I first got into it. Another thing that just arrived is the real grade Impulse. I think we are probably the first ones in the US to get it. I could be wrong. There's probably another store somewhere that got them as well. But we just got them in straight in a container from Bandai from Japan. We couldn't get through Bluefin. So what Bandai did was they got our order, put it all in a container right there in Japan, just sent it directly to us, which was really cool of them to do to kind of get around Bluefin not being able to ship to everybody. So really nice. What else do I got here? I got the new 30-minute missions. I think they're Rabiot kits. A lot of people like these. We got the white and the orange. One just arrived.
I love the name of that one.
Yeah, it's a lot beefier than the other ones. So I think a lot of people will like these a lot too, which is pretty neat. The new entry grade kits came in. I haven't built one yet. They look super easy to build. They're not posable at all. So what you get is what you get, I guess. But they're geared towards kids and people just want to try it and then get more into the hobby, which is nice. So a lot of these came in.
Seems sort of like a very, very basic, simplified form of like the Figure as Labo line, sort of like you're building a figure, sort of.
Yeah, you're big enough. Yeah, definitely a figure that's static, doesn't pose, but you don't even need nippers for it. Like they break off the parts. So we'll see how that works when I try one out. We did just get a huge SMS paint order too in. Huge restock on all of that. I know a lot of people like the SMS, and we've been out for a little bit on certain colors. We just got those in. We did get their new colors. A lot of their new color shift colors is the alien version. It goes like violet, blue, green, but really cool stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not. Yeah, a little bit, but pretty cool. And then their pearl colors are off the chain. Like these colors are really, really good. SMS top quality stuff. So right from Australia. So, but that's pretty much. Oh no, I lied to you. We got one more that came in. The cross silhouette Lupus Rex.
Yes.
So I have not built a cross silhouette kit, but really? For some reason I'm not, but this one I'm definitely building. I don't know. I love the way this one looks. I saw I think it was a Japanese Twitter where they were. It might have been something else, but they were like turning this into almost like a Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan 3 with the hair. It looked pretty sweet.
Yeah. Speaking of that and Japanese Twitter, what I saw on Twitter was using these effects for like, that Barbatos kind of like eye lightning effect that you see a lot of people make.
Right.
Using these for that with that kiss. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's a good idea.
Try that out. It's always a good idea to just find something cool on Twitter and just copy it.
It's the best thing, seeing what other people do and making it your own.
So I was like, oh, that's a lot easier than like what other people will often do is just like cut a piece of clear runner and like heat it and stretch it, or a piece of clear plot plate and just heat it and stretch it, kind of, which also looks really cool. But this is kind of like very easy mode for that. So I also, someone said in the comments, and I also didn't know that the DX Eva kits are limited run, so that's good to know. So just like it's just the first run thing, and then that's that. No more.
Yep. They whatever Bluefin ordered in, I don't know. Usually what they'll do with limited runs, they'll do the first initial run, and then they'll do one more a few months after that, and then that's it. Then it's done. It's how they usually do those DX sets. So.
Always kind of regretted never getting the Bandesine unicorn. I thought at the time, like, sure they're gonna make the Norn, so if I ever want the shield, let's get the Norn, but whatever. But yeah,
they don't really tell you they're gonna be limited either. It just kind of you have to know. So.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the Labo line too. When that first started off, I didn't know that was gonna be like a limited thing, and they're like, so a lot of that stuff became really hard to find right away.
Yeah, one and done.
But luckily, Bandai couldn't resist doing a recolor version, so I had to make some more.
Yep.
So that's cool stuff. All the SMS paints, that's good for people to be able to get that. I'm sure a lot of people are shut up at home these days, so it's a good chance to get some painting done.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, very cool. Yeah, I got a few of the G-Unit kits here as well. If anyone didn't see on my channel the recent delivery video that I did, I showed that I got some of those G-Unit kits. So I'll be checking out some of the G-Unit kits pretty soon, doing reviews for any of you guys who are interested in seeing those as well. But yeah, very cool kits. I built one of them ages ago as well, and yeah, they're really cool. Back in the day, was 20 years ago. No.
Yeah.
They're not good kits by any means. You shouldn't really go into expecting a whole lot, but they're cool designs. If you put some work into them, they're pretty cool.
I'm curious to see if Bandai decides to keep going, because didn't they redo one Bandai one recently?
The Geminis is coming out. Yeah. And they just recently announced an add-on parts set for it as well too. So yeah, I don't know. I'm in the same boat. Fingers crossed they'll do some more other than just the Geminis, but who knows? I've been surprised at how much they've done with the Advanced Zeta line. So you never know. They could have a lot more that they're going to do with the G-Unit line, just kind of out of nowhere. But it's fine with me.
Yeah,
that's cool. So let's see. Very cool stuff. And just before I get into some of the questions here online, someone had a question here they just posted in the chat that I figured you could answer just real quick. Are you guys going to be getting the Vargil? Do you know if you're
the
the
P Bandai?
Yeah.
So if P Bandai is interesting now, because now the US is getting them. So if it's on the P Bandai site, we will order some. And then when they go obviously out of stock on the P Bandai site, we'll have them up. They will be a little bit more expensive than the P Bandai site, so get them while they're on there. But that's kind of the route now. I think a lot of the US people that sell P Bandai are going to go. They'll just order it off of there, kind of like Japan. If you sell it in Japan, you order it off the Japanese, and then you sell it for a little bit more. So I would be surprised if you see a lot of stores starting to carry stuff that's not in there, just because how much more expensive it costs to get it from Japan, get someone to get it for you, shipping and all that fun stuff. So if it's on there, yes, but we're obviously limited to how many we can order off that site as well. So they'll go quick. There's another question there. There's two questions. Build day I saw on there. I think someone asked about that. We should hopefully next month start build days again back in the warehouse. And then I know people ask about the Hello Kitty a lot. We get a lot of emails for those. We do have a bunch coming in next week. I think we sold like 3,000 something of those kits. So there's 2,000, I think 2,000 coming next week, and then another 1,000 plus coming in about a week or two after that. So you guys should be getting an email soon if you pre-ordered those.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm honestly a little bit surprised that when you told me that earlier, how much, like when they were first announced and how many pre-orders you guys were getting for those, I was kind of surprised because it's like a gimmicky kind of thing. But
yeah,
I was surprised at how many people are actually interested in getting those. I guess there's a lot of like Japanese culture fans and stuff like that want that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it definitely blew my mind when they started to sell like crazy. But yeah, it was definitely good.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So those of you guys who are watching live now, if you have any other questions that you want to ask, hang on for now. I want to go and take some of the other questions that we got in already here on the other different social media stuff. So those of you watching live, hold your questions, maybe write it down or something just in case you don't forget. I'm gonna switch over to taking some questions here from Instagram. Clay asked, what has been the hardest part about running such a wonderful operation?
Honestly, there's a few things that I could probably say, but probably just keeping up with demand. I know a lot of times we'll be out of kits or that people want. I think that's the hardest part. And I think that's probably the hardest part for Bandai as well. Just trying to gauge how fast kits will sell, how much do they need to produce. They have a production capacity on how many kits they can make. So, how many kits do they allocate to, let's just say like the Barbados Lupus Rex, and then versus how many, kits, how much capacity do they allocate to the Vidar or, the Masquerade RX-78, so trying to allocate all those quantities, I think is difficult for them too. I mean, they'll get in all of the store orders, so they'll know kind of what they have. But, as far as us, we've got to order. I know myself, I have to order about 3 months in advance. So just kind of figuring that out is probably the hardest part, I would say, as far as running the business.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be nice to be just like a store like in Akihabara where you can just constantly have everything in stock, right? But being on the other side of the world and having to deal with all that.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It's not like you run out of it, you can order it and get it the next day. It's you run out, Bandai might not make it for it's 3 months, so you're out of it for a while. So
yeah, you just kind of have to do the best with that. All right, here from the official Gunpla. Oh, personal favorite Gunpla you've ever built, and would you ever consider going to Singapore?
So Singapore, yes. I actually, Hobby Mate, the guy that runs that, I work with him a lot, and we've talked about me coming down over there a few times, so I'm sure it'll probably happen. We'll make it a business trip and do some meet and greet or something like that. So I'm sure I'll make it that way. It just depends when. And then my favorite kit I built is probably the one I'm actually building right now. I'm working on the Master Grade Snaju Stein. And I'm really liking that kit. Like, I like the Stein design. I like the regular Verka versus the narrative personally, but I'm enjoying that kit. I think that's probably my favorite so far.
Very good kit, no doubt. All right, what's the most common order or the most sold out kit? I guess it just kind of depends on when. Is there any particular kit that stands out to you?
Master Grade Barbados, maybe just because that's just got released, and we're selling them like crazy. Every time we get them in, they sell out right away. That was Hello Kitty kits did really well. If probably kits since we've started, probably the Master Grade Sotheby Verka. I think that sells really well. So probably out of every kit, those three are really top sellers. The last two probably just because they're top of mind, just because they're this year end of last year kits. Sotheby Verka though probably hands down every year. They sell probably the best. Yeah, it's just the kind of thing I think that's it's always going to be popular. Yeah, for sure. Despite being a pretty expensive and big kit too. Do you think it'd be something cheaper, right? That people would be like always going for, but I think it's just such a cool kit, right? And that Verka box art, it's just magnetism. You can't resist when you see that Verka box art. Oh man. Okay. This was an easy one and then a hard one for you here. This one said, okay, sorry, there's a couple I was going between. One person asked, how did you and I meet? Let's see if I remember this.
I think I vaguely remember.
I think you messaged me. I think you were losing your sponsor, and you had reached out and to see if because I don't think I sponsored anyone. We were sponsoring someone, and then we stopped sponsoring them. And then I believe you reached out and said, hey, that you were losing your sponsor. I think they were going out of business or they were selling their business. And I think that's how this all started. Yep, exactly. And I'm pretty sure this person, obviously, let's see, who was this that asked this? Cullen must not be a real true avid watcher of my channel, because I'm sure I explained that at the time, but it's okay. That was a little couple years ago. But yeah, I was working with a previous sponsor, a business there in Australia, and they were gonna focus their business to some other thing, not selling Gunpla and model stuff. So that was like a part of their business, and they were gonna kind of phase that part out. So and most of my YouTube audience was in America, so I thought it made more sense to try to hook up with an American company instead. And I asked around online, because living here in Korea, I obviously don't use a lot of American shops, so I don't really know what's a good one or not. And so I asked around for people that are in the US, what shops they liked, and just for kind of some feedback, so I could make sure that I worked with a good company. A lot of people said US Gundam Store was good. So yeah, I reached out to Adam, and the rest was history. Awesome. And both of us have been doing pretty well since then, I think. So it's been good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We both grown. yeah. That's the idea. So it all works out. Yeah. That's been 3 years. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere about that, I'd say. And then a little bit probably more difficult question then here from Bobby said, how much will it cost for a startup Gunpla store? Millions. No, I'm playing. So I honestly started this company with $600. So, as long as and anything you want to do, whether it be something like this or selling automotive parts or I don't know, wanting to be a YouTuber, if you put in the work, you're going to get what you put in. So you can start with any amount. I mean, you can start with $5, buy one kit and sell it to someone else, or buy, it just depends on how hard you're wanting to work and how much time you want to put in, and you also have to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, it's not really going to benefit you at all to do it. So you got to be willing to do the hard long days, not being able to build kits, just packing kits. If so that's what we started with. That's how I started out. But I mean, you can start with anything, obviously, and even if you start with more money, you can still not make it. You can start with the least amount of money, make it, and start with the most amount of money and not make it. It all really kind of depends on your drive, you and how you want to do it.
For sure. So what did you do with the first 600? You just bought a bunch of kits and started reselling them through like eBay or something, or?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest negotiating I ever had to do, because I had to ask my wife for that $600. I actually started buying detail parts and paint. The Mr. Super Clear, I think, was the big thing that I had bought, and then little metal detail parts and things like that, selling those on eBay, and then little by little it just kind of evolved into other paints, other detail parts, and I was like, let's buy one or two kits, and then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. So you were ordering that stuff, like a bunch of that stuff, like from Japan?
Yeah, so we were actually ordering from a distributor in Canada when we first started, and then found other distributors. I actually didn't start ordering from Bluefin. Probably we launched our regular website probably a year after we launched that regular website, just because you've got to buy a certain amount to warrant an account. So that's how that works.
Well, there you go. So you don't need a whole lot. And I think it depends on what your goal is too, right?
Yeah.
What you would deem like a successful business. If it's just like something you're doing on the side as like a second business, and you have like a normal day job, as long as you're breaking even, making a little bit of profit, then that might be all you really want in a business, Gunpla selling business, right?
Definitely.
Or
I've got a few friends that just sell things here and there just to pay for their hobby. So it's exactly what you said. Whatever you want to get out of it. If you want it to be a huge company, or you can just do it to make a little bit of money, so you can buy the stuff you want to buy.
Or to have like an actual physical location store, like in your area. Maybe if you don't have any physical store for like hundreds and hundreds of miles, but there's some people around who like would love a store, and you just want to open a place, and you just want to be able to do enough business to keep the lights on and keep the place open for people to be able to go in and enjoy the space. I think that's pretty cool as well, if you can do it.
Yep.
So especially in America, where everybody is so spread out, it's not as dense as it is here in Korea, for example. All right, let's see. Let's see. Not So Average Builder asked, what got you to open USA Gundam? Well, that's kind of related to what we were talking about, but I think he's basically asking like, not how did you do it, but what made you want to do it, I guess.
That's a good question. So I worked at a few places. I used to be a store manager for Walgreens, and then a branch manager actually for Wells Fargo. And I started this when I was actually at Wells Fargo. I just didn't like what I did. I wanted to do something else. And I kind of got tired of the corporate structure where everything is rules for everything. You can't, walk in the door a certain way. You got to. So started it up, and with the goal of just being able to employ myself and pay for my expenses. And, now I think we have 14 employees now. So, I mean, that's how it got started. I just got kind of tired of the day-to-day rat race that everyone does almost.
So you had been into Gunpla as a personal hobby before that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got into it when Gundam Wing came out, and then I would find the kits at Toys R Us when they were around, and started building then, dropped out of it for a little bit, and then I think Gundam Seed came back on. Or not back on, it came on on Toonami as well. And then that's what got me back into it. And then I've been just stuck on it ever since, building kits and having fun, learning how to do different details and paint. And
good. Okay. So yeah, that answers that, I suppose. And a couple of questions which are, similar. And you kind of answered this one on Instagram, it looks like already. But two people asked. One person asked about when are you getting restock of E7 paints, and then another person asked about Arty stations. So you can kind of just take those both at the same time, maybe.
Yeah. So E7, that's a good question. We need to put in another order for that. I don't know why it was difficult to get it over here. But I think it now is coming down to price because we have to buy now an entire container, I think is what we got it down to the cheapest. So then that obviously costs a lot of money to buy a container worth of just one kind of paint.
Yeah.
Arty Station is on its way. It's probably in the middle of the Pacific right now on its way to us. So it should be here soon.
Yeah. It takes a little while. It's quite a large ocean.
Yeah, and then it'll get to the port, and I don't know how backed up the ports are now. I know they have fully. I think they're in California. I don't know. They might be fully open. They might not be. So I'm sure there's tons of container ships just sitting off the coast, waiting to come in, get unloaded, and then that then gets put on a train. A train comes to Orlando. Orlando gets put on a truck to us. So a lot of steps, a lot of delays, I'm sure, and time for it to get to us. But hopefully it'll be here sooner than later.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. On just another note, you guys also have much stock of the Hobby Zone stuff in now, or expecting some more of that as well in the near future?
Yeah, we placed an order for that, but they weren't. It comes from, I believe, Spain. I could be wrong. It comes from somewhere in Europe to the distributor here in the U.S. And I know that they had sent the order to the European company because they didn't have everything here in the U.S. warehouse. So I'm not 100% sure where that's at, to be honest.
Coming.
Yes. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yes. All right. Let me see what else we got here. How long does it typically take you to get a new kit after it's released in Japan?
So it used to take like a month to 2 months. Now it's taking like the Barbados. We got them, I think, before the release date in Japan. We had them here. So it just depends on the kit, and it depends when Bandai can load the containers that come to Bluefin or come directly to us. So we're getting them sooner than later now. Hopefully it kind of balances out to where it's the same time, but it's just like a logistics thing. It's definitely not taking a month to a month and a half. Now it's taking maybe a week or the day of or before.
That's good. Yeah. And it seems like that it kind of depends. It depends on the kit. It's not necessarily always set in stone. Like you'll always get it a week after or something, or like right before. But yeah,
it just depends on the release date, and then when the containers ship to the U.S. is kind of when that kind of falls, and how much they can fit in the containers.
Okay. Here's 2 questions for you. This person had Lock On Hobbies. How many orders a day or per week do you process and ship? That's the first question. I'll let you take that first. So about average, how many per day you think?
So per day before the coronavirus was probably about 300 to 500. After the coronavirus, we probably have right now about 3,000 orders we need to ship, and our capacity is between 700 and 800 a day. So, it's definitely now after the coronavirus, way more than we do per day.
Yeah. So quite a lot. So anyone, if you're wondering, where's my order?
Yeah, it's coming.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we're getting to them.
Yeah. And you said there's about 14 employees. Not all of them, working on necessarily packing orders, but even if they were, that's 14 people like at maximum, packing that many orders. That's still going to take a little while. It's not like an Amazon warehouse or anything like that.
Yeah.
His other question is, what is one product, kit, or supplies, either one, that's coming out that you're excited to get in stock?
There's a kit that's coming that I can't say that I'm excited about. But kits that probably the Masquerade Curios that's coming out. I'm pretty excited for that. I definitely enjoyed the Dynamis. That was a lot of fun. If they make more IBO kits, I'll be excited for those, Master Grade wise.
This one, Aro asked, what do you like to build or collect? So is there any particular grade or series that you like in particular, or anything else that you collect?
Yeah, Master Grade kits. That's probably what I like most to build. Just because they're bigger, a little bit more detailed, take a little bit longer. So that's kind of my genre of building is those. I collect all sorts of random stuff. Honestly, I collect a lot of Dragon Ball Z stuff. I don't know. Let me see if I can move the camera to show people some stuff. I mean, I got all sorts of anime, Dragon Ball Z stuff up there. So, I mean, everything kind of in the Gundam genre too. I definitely love Gunpla and Gundam themed items.
Have you ever gotten into building much of any other kind of franchise, Macross kits, Zoids, anything like that you personally enjoy building as well?
I started building a lot military helicopters and military planes. I know it's model kits, but I started doing that. I'm actually working on a Black Hawk helicopter right now from Tamiya. So I started getting into that a little bit, liking that, but mostly model kit wise, probably Gundam.
On a kind of related question here from Fallen Sergio, he said, what's a kit that you would like to see a remaster of? So
that's a good question.
Since you like master grades, this would be like basically what master grade would you like to see a 2.0 of?
Probably the Camphor, just because I like the design of that. Also, there's so many. The GPO2A, I think would have a nice if they did a 2.0 of that one. I think that'd be really cool. Or any of those. The GPO3, I think it would be pretty cool too if that had a 2.0.
Yeah. I think for a little while now, because anytime people ask me that question, that's kind of been my default answer that I'm sticking with for the time being is the GP series. Definitely.
Yeah, they're pretty dated kits.
But as was voted on during my charity live stream not too long ago, the Master Grade GPO2 is going to be the next Trash to Treasure series build. So I'll be working on that pretty soon. I've started thinking about that. The other night I was just looking at the pictures of it, kind of thinking it over and thinking how cool it would be to turn the massive shield into a massive back skirt on it. But that'd be kind of interesting. So thinking about ideas for that anyway.
I'm excited to see you work on it.
That'll be cool. But yeah, it'd be nice to just get a 2.0 of that kit as well. Would be preferable. I can agree with that. The Camphor as well too would be nice. I still say that the original Master Grade is still pretty nice. I really like the look, the proportions of it, despite the kit being pretty old. It's still a pretty good looking kit, I think. But of course, a 2.0 it'd have some cool gimmicks and things like everything. It'd just be a much more solid kit for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a bad kit. I just would like a 2.0 just because it would be fresh.
Sure. And this is also kind of a similar question, but maybe we can just touch on this real quick. Is Owen Prov asked, kit that you think deserves a PG kit?
New or Sosby? Sosby would just be crazy if it was perfect grade, honestly. So I can see a new coming one day, just because I think someone high up in Bandai likes the new. I mean, they did the metal structure. So I can see that probably in the future. As far as other kits or other probably that one. I'll stick with the new.
Yeah. It makes the most sense. I think definitely the new. If you were thinking of like just like the most famous, like, because I don't know, like the Barbatos is really popular. I didn't expect that we were going to see the Master Grade out this soon, so that was surprising. You know, a perfect grade Barbatos, I wouldn't be all that surprised now.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. I could see that coming probably soon too.
Because otherwise, I wonder what a bunch of the other like main, like really super popular ones. So they got like the Strike, the Strike Freedom, the Ashtray. These are like all their bread and butter kits that they make loads and loads of. The new, I think, is pretty much like the next one. It really just kind of makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would even dive. I mean, they did. I guess you can consider the Ashtray and the Strike as being in the same, and then I guess the Banshee and the Unicorn too. So I don't know. Maybe they'll make perfect grade heavy arms would be cool, but I don't see that coming anytime soon.
Yeah. I wonder because for even the real grades, after making the real grade wing, they haven't even branched out to making any different wing series real grades except just the tall geese, but of like the main Gundams. I mean,
yeah, didn't they like 2 or 3 years ago come out with like I want to remember an image when they did the wing and they had the other ones there and then they never made them.
Yeah. One of those famous images that got so much hype and like you kind of knew that it wasn't ever going to really be anything, but people were like, they're going to make all of them. Like, probably not, but it's a nice thought.
Yeah.
That it will be really cool, even though it's not my favorite Gundam design by any means, but I think it would be really cool to get a perfect grade Crossbone. That'd be really fun.
That would be really cool. And I don't. Yeah, and then that's a smaller actual Gundam, so hopefully it wouldn't even be that much too.
Yeah, and because that's what I mean, like, and it's small and really gimmicky, and so like the small versions are cool because even like the real grade, it's really cool despite it being so tiny. But to have it like in a larger scale and like you could really play around with it would be pretty awesome. I think that could be cool, and of course. It has tons of variants, so Bandai can milk the hell out of it with the different P Bandai kits.
Yeah.
Which is always good. All right. There was another one. Let's see. I wanted to ask here. Where did it go? Yes. What would you, this is from Almighty Hans, said, what would you be doing if you weren't running the best large Gunpla shop on this side of the ocean?
That's a good question. I don't know what I would be doing
in there as well.
Yeah, I'd probably still be working at the bank, probably, because that's probably the only reason why I'm not there now. I don't know. Who knows?
You never know.
I have no clue. I might have started something else.
Yeah, I think probably if you have like the ambition to do something like that, you probably would have ended up, like you said, doing something similar to that, if not this. Right. Let's see. Is there a certain product or brand that you're trying to obtain to potentially sell in your store?
So there's a few different brands. There's I want to see if we can get why can't I think of the name of the paint now? It's a Japanese company.
Finishers?
Yes, thank you. Finishers. I got an order form for them, so we'll be getting that shortly. Let's see what else was in the pipeline. Haiku parts should hopefully be coming back in soon. We used to carry them a long time ago, and then they did something where they only want to send to one company per country, but we're getting around that. So
yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how small these Japanese companies are. Like Wave, Haiku, it's like a 10-person operation.
Yeah.
They're so commonly used products, like everyone uses them, so people think it's like a big company, but they're really tiny operations. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, like Wave, I'm sure and we've talked about this before too. Wave is a very notoriously difficult company to deal with, to get stuff from them.
Yeah, so they kind of have the same thing. They only want to send to one company. So we have a company that then brings it in Canada, and we get it that way. And then we actually started emailing directly with someone there, so they'll be getting us hopefully more and more kits, because they asked us what we felt would sell well here in the States versus all their kind of normal parts and pieces, and so hopefully we'll see more of their actual kits come back. One of my favorites is the space crab that they make. So I want to get those back in. Those are pretty cool kits.
Still got one of those, and thinking, because it's like the perfect kit for doing some like cool kit bash idea, but yet to kind of think of like the perfect use for that. But it's something that could work with so many different things. It's a cool design. If any of you guys are unfamiliar with it, you just search for like the space crab.
Yeah,
you probably find it. You probably find a lot of weird stuff, but you probably find the model kit in there as well.
Yep.
And I wanted to talk about something kind of related to that too, but there's one more here. It looks like from Instagram that I did want to get to here also, is about Mobile Suit Ensemble Gashapon figures, but kind of just Gashapon in general. What's the situation for getting that kind of stuff in stock, carrying different kind of Gashapon stuff?
Yeah, so Bandai owns Bluefin, and Bandai, I don't know if Bandai owns Bandai. They should. I believe they own Bandai America as well. They should, right? So Bandai America gets the Gashapon machines and all the Gashapon items, and they are now going to be getting the Gundam heads and the Zaku heads and all those. They were getting like Hello Kitty stuff and things like that, but now that they're seeing numbers and things come in on how well Gunpla is doing in here in the States. That's actually a newer item that they brought in. Some of the Zaku heads, and a lot of people found some at, I believe, Barnes & Noble. But now they're going to be bringing them in a lot more, so it'll be a lot easier for everyone to get them.
So that's good. And I know like people had been asking about the line, was it the G frame stuff as well? G frame and Converge, since I do a bunch of videos on different Converge stuff as well too. I know those are also kind of hard to get.
Yeah, Converge, I don't know. So Bluefin was bringing in Converge kits, or not kits, but they haven't brought in any new ones, probably, I want to say, for 2 years. None of the new stuff that's come out that they brought in. I don't know if it just wasn't selling well here in the States. I know every time we got them in, they sold. So maybe I'll have to talk to Bluefin about that.
Yeah. Have to. They're awesome. But
yeah,
that's just me. Maybe not everyone will agree, but At least I think so. And let's see. Actually, there was one more too that I found that I wanted to get to. Bear with me a moment.
It's all right. They said that Bandai America is owned by Bandai, which they should
Confirm.
be. If that name is there, it should be.
Yes, confirm. It seems obvious, but I get what you mean. They may be like under like different management branches. So like just because it's the same name, they could be, not actually communicating very well between each other, right?
Yeah, just like Bluefin. Bluefin's owned by Bandai. They're still called Bluefin, although they, I think, want people to call them Bandai now. But we'll see.
Yes, here it is. From Will asks, what other large projects are you hoping to do in the future with your store and fans? So any kind of like with the build day sort of thing, or any sort of projects you got in the works?
Yeah, so hoping we can still do the Mecha Modelers Expo. I've been in talks with the Ocean Center here in Daytona Beach, and they're, I think, waiting still on the state to give them guidelines to see if we can still do conventions. We still obviously have a few months. It's, I believe at the end of August.
Yep.
So hopefully that. As far as big things, other than that, probably some more contests. I'm sure you have one planned up, Zach. So that,
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. That nothing huge right now. I know probably a lot of people have seen like we changed our eBay store to Apex Toys and Hobbies now. But that's just more geared towards being able to market the eBay, like the actual figures and things like that on the eBay site. Just so people can find them when they search. But that's pretty much it, really. That's going on, other than getting more kits in.
I mean, it's not like you're not staying busy,
right?
Trying to get everyone's orders out, right? So,
yeah,
certainly a lot on your plate. But yes, I can say that I am thinking about the next contest, and I'm thinking probably a photo contest for this summer. But I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. Definitely. And then I'll talk to all the rest of you guys about that later as well. But it's that's in the works. Okay, and then before we get to taking a look at some of these Facebook comments as well, I wanted to get this because I had seen a couple of people mention about this and in other places. So Zoids and Macross. What's the deal with those?
Yeah, so Zoids are a no-go for the time being because of licensing. So the Kotobukiya America Kotobukiya cannot bring in Zoid kits just because of the licensing issue. So any store that brings in the Zoid kits are, I guess, opening themselves up for liability on that, which is fine. So if you want to get them from Japan and import them in. Unless, one day, hopefully, let's all pray that they let that licensing ease up a bit and let them bring it in, which just makes sense because then they would make money. The licensor would make money off of it. So,
right?
Yeah, you would think they'd want money, but Macross, I believe that license ends this year. The license holder had a contract. I forget who it was with. And that ends this year, and Bandai and other companies should be able to start bringing in Macross kits, from my understanding, unless something changes or has changed. Last I heard about that was last month, so that's kind of where that's going. So fingers crossed for that too.
Yeah, indeed. Hopefully, both franchises are kind of like obviously not anywhere near as popular as Gunpla is, but still, I'm sure there's plenty of fans that would like to be able to get that stuff, a little bit easier. You can still get it, but just to be able to get it conveniently through whichever store you normally order from, which is hopefully our store.
Right.
So, fingers crossed. Hopefully the Macross stuff works out for Takara. I don't know. They seem kind of not really very flexible on wanting to work with the Zoid stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm going to really hold my breath on that. But
yeah, I just don't get it.
hopefully.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would make money off of it, so I don't know. I don't know what the point is of just letting. But it's not my business.
Yeah. Are you able to carry the Zoids Wild stuff, the Takara kits?
Yeah, we can get those. I just haven't. I've not heard good things about them.
Yeah, I would say there's probably even less of a demand for those. I think if people want any of them, they want the good stuff, the Kotobuki one.
Yep.
And Kotobuki is coming out with their HMM version of the main Liger from the Wild series, which does look pretty interesting. So, but still won't be able to get that in stock either. But it does look like a cool kit anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So going over to Facebook here, we got some other questions. Miguel said, with the arrival of P Bandai kits arriving to the US, will we see more of the kits through your store available? Well, we kind of already talked about that a little bit earlier. So
yeah, let me touch on that though real quick. So I think we even on Gunpla Talk 2 years ago, we talked about ordering from US based companies. And how that's important because it doesn't matter if it's from us or someone else. If you order from a US based company, that counts as a US sale versus if you order from a Japanese website or something like that, that counts as a Japanese sale because more and more people are buying from US stores. That's why one reason why we have P Bandai now here in the US. So the more that Bandai can see that the US demand is there, the more kits they're going to make for us, the more stuff we're going to be able to get. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Buy US from US stores because that's a US sale and it goes towards US numbers, and Bandai wants to see the US grow. They're putting a lot of money into it, and we want to show them that that their demand is here.
Right, exactly. So if you guys want to be able to order, I mean, you can get your P Bandai stuff from plenty of different sources. Not like if you can't get it from USA Gundam Store, then you're screwed. You can get it still, but if you would like to get it from USA Gundam Store, then just keep buying it from some other place, like Adam's saying, from Bluefin in the US, and then hopefully, who knows how long it'll take, but eventually they'll work that out. But fingers crossed.
Yep.
They're making steps, which is a good thing. So, all right. And here's someone asking about when we can expect more God Hand stuff.
Probably in 2 weeks. They're making them right now, so they'll hopefully finish this week, ship them next week, and then be here the week after. So about 2 weeks.
Okay, good. I think we've covered pretty much all the main brands of different stuff. People wondering about when everything's getting coming in. This is not a question that I've seen in the different questions, but just on the topic of different branded products coming in about getting in paints, like especially lacquer paints from Japan. How easy or complicated is that?
So most, like GSI Krios comes from Bluefin, so that's easy. SMS takes a little while. It's easy to get in. It just takes a while. And then you get to, because we directly import that, you get to see all the fun fees and all the fun logistical issues with it. It's not hard. It just has to go through a bunch of steps. And then paint is deemed dangerous goods. So then there's extra steps that they got to take for that. And then there's extra fees for that. So it's not difficult. It's just time consuming and step taking.
Gaia as well.
So Gaia, we actually get there's a US distributor here in the States. So that's extremely easy to get to. We just put in an order and they ship it to us. They get to deal with all the logistical problems of getting it here.
Are they able to get like a good amount of that? You usually can get like a fair amount, or it's kind of limited.
It is limited to a certain extent. It's limited in two ways. Quantity, obviously, it's to whatever their buying power is, and then I don't know how many other stores buy from them, and so that quantity is limited that way. But then it's limited because Gaia likes to use, for example, they make Evangelion paint line. We can't get that over here because of licensing with Evangelion. So we can't get a lot of their paint range just because they have licensing problems with the paint lines that they have. They have a Frame Girls line, which is great. They can't bring that over here because of licensing. They've got Votom's line. They've got all sorts of different colors. I think there's more colors we can't bring over here to the States than colors we can bring over here.
Is there there's licensing issues with Votom stuff?
So they make a Votom line, Gaia does. And from what they told me, they cannot bring it here because there's no licensing contract, which I don't know. You would think they'd want to go and try to get that, but and so let's see, they've got Votom's Virtual on. Was it a Dugram? Line, Mechatro line. That's a pretty small one. They only have like a 8 or 12. The Evangelion line, they do have a good amount of those, but anything Evangelion is going to be complicated, right? Even if they could just even change the name of the color and change, and then we could bring it over here. But that's just how Gaia does it. They want they just put that kind of marketing on the paint and that name. So
yes, sure. Here, Jasenia asked, what's the master grade that you would recommend to a first-time master grade builder? So someone who wants to build their first master grade kit. Do you have a recommendation?
That's a good question, because you can go simple in like older kits, so they're not that hard. But you're not getting the new top quality stuff. So probably the 3.0. I think I would the RX-78 3.0.
Oh, really?
It's not a difficult kit. You're getting the main Grandpa Gundam, and you're getting either that or even maybe a 2.0 RX-78. I think that might be what I would recommend for a master grade. I don't know. What do you think, Zach?
I would say if you wanted to build like the Granddaddy Gundam as your first master grade, I would say either the 2.0 or the Origin version over the 3.0, because the 3.0 has a couple of parts of the build that are a little bit tricky. So if it's your first time and you've never built something like that complex, you might find it a little bit tricky. And the two other versions, the Origin version and the 2.0 that I mentioned, are also really good kits still, despite not being like the imagined top of the line 3.0. They're both like equally good, I would say, just different. But the one that I've been recommending a lot recently when I get asked this question is the Master Grade Jegan, because it's new, so it's really nice, but it's still pretty simple build. So it's a good one, I think. And it's not like it's pretty cheap. It's not super, doesn't have like a big complex backpack or anything like that. It's pretty simple, but good, solid, basic, good for painting too. Very easy kit to paint. It's a pretty easy kit to customize too, with it not having a really complex inner frame. But good, simple, I think. But yeah, like you're saying, some of the older MGs are nice because they're simpler. So like making the transition of building HGs and moving to master grades, it's a very easy transition. Building like an older master grade, because it's very similar to like what HGs are now. A lot of new HGs are actually better than some of the early master grades.
Yeah,
definitely. But at the same time, I'm not sure if starting off your master grade experience with one of those older ones is that good. Also, because you might end up feeling kind of disappointed too. You're feeling like, oh, master grade line's not that great. This kit's like just kind of so. So you might end up feeling a little bit disappointed. But then again, on the other hand, I think also if you start off with like the best master grade, then everything else after that is going to be downhill. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard question. I know a lot of times when people if you've built a kit before, I mean, you can probably build any kit. It just might take you a lot longer. So
Yeah.
find something that you like, you think is a cool design, and you should be able to build it. You know, you shouldn't have any problem.
Yes. Yeah. Ultimately, that's the best answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just whatever looks good to you. Because if you're gonna just take something only by my recommendation, if I recommend something that is just not aesthetically something that you're into at all, like if I recommended someone the Jegan and their favorite Gundam is the Strike Freedom, it's not really gonna jive with their personal taste.
Right.
So yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The best answer is just get whatever looks cool for you. Really. Even if it's a kid that ends up having problems or whatever, like you'll still appreciate that it looks cool, right? Let's see. We'll just do a couple more here before we wrap up for today. Shaka asked, is there a way to include USPS or other slower but cheaper options for European shipping or shipping to Europe?
So yes, I believe international shipping, when you go to our checkout, it has all the different rates. So the cheapest, unfortunately, international shipping from the US is not cheap. Like if you order from Japan, their international shipping is pretty cheap. And that's, thanks to our post office, I guess. So a lot of people like e-packets. I think it's first class. It's called first class international mail through us, which you can get for like $3 or $6 sometimes internationally, whereas the US it's like $8 to $20. So I guess to answer your question, our cheapest options are there at checkout, unfortunately.
Yeah, always. It's crazy sending stuff back and forth between my parents. We'll like send a package to my parents, and when every time we get packages from my parents, my wife and I are always thinking like, oh, we feel so bad because we see like the shipping price on there. The shipping is so much more expensive for stuff going out of America. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why. Obviously, they got to make money, so who knows?
I suppose that kind of pretty much covers this. I think a lot of what people were asking around on the different Instagram and Facebook pages. So I guess just let's take a few minutes before we wrap up then to take some questions from people who are watching live. So any of you guys who are watching live know if you've been saving your questions. Appreciate your patience, and feel free to ask any questions now before we wrap up for today. We'll see a question for Adam. Conrad says, any updates from Bluefin regarding the 144 Neo Zeong orders?
Yeah, so last I heard from them is they should be here in their next round of containers. I don't know if those containers ship to us. I know they were supposed to come last year, and then they got pushed back for certain reasons. So I guess my best answer is hopefully sooner than later. But from what they told me, that they will be in the next round of their containers, which should be within a month, I would assume.
Okay. Is that, yeah, I honestly haven't heard many people asking about that kit. I don't think it's a kit that's really on a lot of people's radar, but yeah, now that I think about it, it doesn't seem like that's one that they've produced for a while.
Yeah, they're supposed to come out with them, I want to say last November, maybe October. We had them up for back order, and then stuff happened to where we didn't get ours. And then they told us that I believe it was January they were supposed to be in, and then that got pushed back a little bit, and then the whole Corona thing happened. So that's kind of where that's at, unfortunately.
Yeah. General Rasp, is it difficult to get metal build figures?
Yes.
Really?
So when they come here to the States, we get allocated. So every store gets allocated a certain amount of those kits. So let's just say Bandai gets 200. They give us 20. They give someone else 20. And then they break down to like, the smaller mom and pop stores. Each one of those get like 1 or 2. So we're allocated a specific number. And so when that number is gone, we usually don't get them again.
So when, like, before you get those in, are they usually up for pre-order, or you don't allow those to go up for pre-order because you kind of don't know how many you're going to get or whatever?
No, so they tell us right away how many we'll get, and then we put them up for pre-order, and so we limit the pre-orders to usually 2 or 3 less than what we're getting. So in case one's damaged, we can switch it out and make sure no one gets a damaged one.
Sure.
But usually when we send out the email, those metal builds are gone within like the first hour. So yeah, you got to be quick.
Yeah. So there you go. If that is something you're interested in, just make sure you're getting email notifications for stuff like that. Alvin asked, how often will these Q&As happen? We hadn't really discussed in detail, but I think we were thinking about every 2 weeks or so, but something like that is probably a good time for this.
Yeah.
Because it's cool to do. I think it's fun to do. But I think doing them too often will probably just end up answering the same questions again over and over again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But it's still fun to do. So probably about every 2 weeks for a while. We'll see how it goes. If we want to do them more frequently or less frequently, we'll see. It's just kind of experimental now at the time. So just something I wanted to try out, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see. How much did this COVID thing affect importing products? Getting stuff from Japan? Has there been much? Do you notice about that?
Yeah, so Bluefin obviously shut down. We weren't able to get anything from them for about a month and a half. But a lot of our other distributors were still shipping. We have a Canadian one. And then there's another one here in the state that's like a sub distributor. They get stuff from Bluefin, and then they just sell it for a little higher price to other stores. So we just, went to them and said, hey, what do you have left? And we got a bunch of stuff from them, just a little bit higher cost, but in order to stay somewhat in stock. But yeah, I mean, there was a time there where I thought we'd be out of everything. But we were able to kind of secure stuff from the Canadian distributor, and then the sub US distributor worked pretty well with us to help us out, which was cool.
But Bluefin is back in operation now?
Yeah, they opened back up, I want to say last Monday. One thing too that they did, Bluefin or Bandai, I mean, they're the same company, I guess. They let us order a container's worth and then shipped it out to us. With that process, though, it takes about a month. So we just got that container in literally, I think, yesterday. So that was pretty cool. So say this thing did happen where we were shut down for like 3 or 4 months. That's now an option that, we worked out, Bandai and us, and they did it with, I think, 2 other companies to get stuff in case Bluefin does shut down, and just to kind of skip Bluefin and then get it directly to us, which is pretty cool.
So that's good. So it's ultimately not really affecting the operation too much.
Yeah, not too much. I know a few of our pre-orders got delayed because they were already in Bluefin's warehouse at the time of shutdown. So now that they're open back up, they are coming to us. I saw a few questions. A high-grade Origins kit that'll be here next week. What else? The 1/60th scale Mazinger kit that'll be here next week. So a lot of those pre-orders that were getting released at that time that everything shut down, they'll be here probably next week.
Janice asked about getting replacement parts through Bluefin now that Bluefin is owned by Bandai. Have you heard any news about that? If that's going to be possible and maybe in the future or not?
So you've always been able to get replacement
parts?
Right. So if anything, it's probably the exact same. I know you just have to, I think they have a form now on their site that you fill out. I could be wrong. You just have to send an email. But then you got to take a picture of the kit with a bluefin sticker.
Yeah.
Your, either email for confirmation. And then depending on the kit and the part you need, it really depends if Bandai's making that kit or if they have excess parts of that kit. So if you, buy a kit, for example, the G Unit wing kits, say you bought one from somewhere, a store, someplace 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, before they were reprinting them, you probably would have had to wait the 2 or 3 weeks to get a replacement part for it. So it just kind of depends on the kit and what Bandai's in the process of creating.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had Xavier on Gunpla Talk as well, but when we've had Xavier on Gunpla Talk before, he talked about that, and I've done a video in between time about that as well. Yeah, it is possible to get replacement parts through Bluefin, but yeah, it is kind of, there's a very set way as to how you have to do it. It's maybe not quite as easy as it is in Japan, but it's possible, which is a lot more than what you can say for most countries. So the fact that it's even possible at all is better than what most countries have. So
yeah,
something anyway. Just the thing is, just try not to lose or break any of your parts so badly in the first place, so you don't have to worry about that. All right, let me see if we maybe got one more here. One good one. Let's see what we can find. What kind of kits? Here's about Papa asking, what kind of kits do you get in the membership yearly program?
So you get a variety of kits. I know we try to send out different real grades here and there, probably like 3 times a year. But you mostly get high grade kits. Some of the new ones that got released, some older ones. It really depends on what we can get from Bluefin, because we order directly from them to fill those kits or fill those membership boxes. I know a lot of people focus on kit value. You also get a lot of things, like you get a 15% off code that you can use as long as you're a member, which is nice. So you get a lot of other perks, access to like the members page and stuff like that with it. But high grade, real grade kit is what you're going to get out of those for the most part.
Okay. All right. I know there's a bunch of people asking a lot of things, so I know I didn't get to everyone's questions. And then on the Facebook and Instagram channels, I know we didn't get to answer every single question in detail. Some of you guys need to work on wording your questions a little bit better. So some of the questions didn't really make sense, so that's why I had to kind of skip some of them. But hopefully most everyone's questions were answered well enough for this time. But like we said, we'll do another episode probably in about 2 weeks' time. So if you guys asked a question and it wasn't answered, you can ask again next time. Again, I'll post up usually 1 or 2 days before on the YouTube or the YouTube as well, Instagram and the Facebook pages, where you guys can leave your questions ahead of time. So like I said, we'll be going through those first. So yeah, ask your questions next time, guys, if they didn't get answered this time. Thank you all for watching Hangouts. Those of you who've been watching live, if you're watching this later, just again, follow the channel so you get updates, and also the USA Gundam Store Facebook page, Instagram accounts, and then all my stuff, my Instagram and everything as well, my ZakuAurelius channel. So you guys get all the updates for everything so you don't miss the next one if you want to watch it live. And Adam, anything else for today?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for all your orders and all your support. We definitely appreciate it. And that's kind of everything I have. Thank you guys for everything.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. For all the supports and all the patience as well.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And man, I don't know. That's what earlier, like I think one of the first questions we talked about was like, what is like the hardest part of your business? And I was surprised you didn't say the customer service or
well, that's hard too, but you know, I enjoy the customer service part for the most part, because you get to interact with people that are into this just as much as I am. So yeah, that's always fun for me. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure D, who usually answers our emails and stuff, she might say otherwise. But
a lot of questions, I'm sure, about people's orders all day long, but yeah, they're working. Everybody's working hard to get all the orders out. So Yeah. Thanks everyone for the support. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.